independent paths. Theorem. Suppose that first one, a function f of z has a simple pole at a point z is equal to x naught on the real axis with a Lorentz series representation in a punctured disk 0 less than modulus of z minus x naught less than capital R2 and with radius and with residue b naught. Second one, 0 denotes the upper half of a circle modulus of z minus x naught is equal to rho, where this radius is less than this one, rho is less than capital R2 and the clockwise direction is taken. Then limit rho tends to 0, integration over 0 f of z dz is equal to minus b naught pi iota. This one we have to prove. What is the given statement? Suppose that a function f of z has a simple pole at a point on the real axis. This is the real axis. Let us take a point x naught. F of z has a simple pole at a point x naught on the real axis. Now with the Lorentz series representation in the punctured disk, what is a punctured disk? A punctured disk is nothing but a deleted neighborhood at x naught. So I am going to take a deleted neighborhood. This is of radius capital R2. This one. Now residue at x naught is b naught. Now next second one, 0 denotes the upper half of a circle. What is this circle? A circle centered at x naught of radius rho, and this radius is less than R2 and this is the upper half of the circle. So this is 0. This is 0 of radius rho and this point will be minus R2 because this radius is capital R2, this radius is rho. 0 denotes the upper half of this circle. This is the total circle, only upper half is the 0. The clockwise direction, this is the clockwise direction. Then I have to prove that as rho tends to 0, as this radius tends to 0, integration over this 0 f of z dz is minus b naught pi iota. So let now what is the given? F of z has a Laurent series representation in a punctured disk. In a punctured disk means with a residue b naught, with a residue b naught, and has a simple pole. Means if f of z has a simple pole, then its singular part in the Laurent series of f of z at x naught, its singular part contain only one term, that is 1 by z minus x naught, and remaining part all are 0, and the coefficient of 1 by z minus x naught is b naught. So f of z is equal to g of z plus b naught by z minus x naught in 0 less than modulus of x minus x z minus x naught less than r2, where what is g of z? Summation n is equal to 0 to infinity an into z minus x naught to the power of n. This one plus singular part contain only one term because it is a simple pole, and coefficient of 1 by z minus x naught is a residue, that is given as a b naught, and clearly it is a polynomial is analytic in modulus of z minus x naught less than r2. Let 0 be the upper half of a circle modulus of z minus x naught is equal to rho in the clockwise direction, where rho is less than r2. Rho is less than r2. Now for some rho naught such that rho less than rho naught less than r2, between these two radius I am going to take another radius rho naught. Since what is the given? G of z is analytic. G of z is analytic inside the modulus of z minus x naught less than rho 2. Now I am going to take a circle whose radius is greater than rho and less than this one. This one is rho naught. This one is rho naught. Now, as g of z is analytic inside R2, means it is differentiable. Every differentiable is continuous, and continuous in a closed region is bounded. So, g of z is continuous in the closed disk modulus of z minus x naught less than or equal to rho naught. Therefore, every continuous function in a closed region is bounded. Therefore, modulus of g of z is less than or equal to capital M on modulus of z minus x naught less than or equal to rho naught. Now, integration over 0 f of z dz. As I have to prove this one, I consider this one. But what is f of z? G of z plus this one is equal to integration over 0 g of z dz plus integration over 0 b naught by z minus x naught dz. Let us take equation number 1. Now also modulus of integration over 0 g of z dz. Going to consider this one. If I take modulus inside, this one becomes less than or equal to integration over 0 modulus of g of z dz. Now what we got here, modulus of g of z is less than or equal to m on modulus of z minus x naught less than or equal to rho naught. Means inside this circle, for each and every point, modulus of g of z is less than or equal to rho naught. Means on this 0 is also, it is less than or equal to capital M. So this one is less than or equal to capital M into integration over 0 dz. Capital M into integration over 0 dz, that is length of this contour, means circumference of this half circle is pi r. R is here rho. So what you will get here? Pi rho. This one tends to 0 as rho tends to 0. As rho tends to 0, these both are constant, this one tends to 0. Therefore what we got? Limit as rho tends to 0, integration over 0 f of z dz. This one becomes 0. So remaining part, limit rho tends to 0, integration over 0 b naught by z minus x naught dz. Now what is 0? 0 is z minus x naught is equal to rho e to the power of iota theta. A circle centered at x naught of radius rho and theta belongs to, as 0 is in the clockwise direction, it moves from pi to 0. Pi to 0. Then negative of this contour minus 0 is z minus x naught is equal to rho e to the power of iota theta, where theta belongs to 0 to pi, negative direction. Now consider this part, integration over 0 b naught by z minus x naught dz is equal to, this one can be written as minus of integration of minus 0 b naught by z minus x naught dz, which is equal to minus 0 is from 0 to pi b naught by z minus x naught is rho e to the power of iota theta. Differentiate this one, we will get rho e to the power of iota theta into iota d theta. This one get cancelled. We will get minus iota b naught integration 0 to pi d theta, which is equal to minus b naught pi iota. Now substitute this one in equation number 2. So what you will get if I substitute in equation number 2? Therefore equation number 2 implies limit rho tends to 0, integration over 0 f of z dz is equal to minus pi iota b naught. Evaluate integration 0 to infinity sin x by x dx. Solution. Let capital F of z is equal to e to the power of iota z by z. In place of x I am taking z, and sin x is the imaginary part of this one, so I took this one, which is equal to e to the power of iota z into f of z, where f of z is equal to 1 by z. Poles of capital F of z are roots of the denominator, that is z is equal to 0. Therefore z is equal to 0 is the only pole and is a simple pole. Clearly, till now we have studied the poles which lie in the upper half plane, which lie in the unit circle, but now here we are going to get the poles on the real axis. So here this is the pole on the real axis. On the real axis, choose gamma such that, let us take a small radius near to this one is minus rho in the clockwise direction, and a semicircle. This is minus r, this is capital R. In this direction. Now what this one, let us take as gamma. So what is union of this one? This one is 0. Is interval minus r to minus rho union 0 union rho to r union capital gamma. Now what is the contour? Gamma union of this one. Inside this region there is no pole, since gamma is a simple closed contour and capital F of z has no, we can say capital F of z has no poles, means it is analytic inside and on gamma, because here it is the singularity. In this region on the gamma there is no singularity, therefore I can use the Cauchy-Gaussat theorem. Therefore by Cauchy-Gaussat theorem, integration over gamma capital F of z dz is equal to 0. Integration over gamma capital F of z dz is equal to 0. Now this gamma can be written as, this implies integration minus r to minus rho. This one is the real line, so here you will get capital F of x dx plus integration over 0 capital F of z dz plus integration from rho to r capital F of x dx plus integration over gamma capital F of z dz is equal to 0. Now letting rho tends to 0 and r tends to infinity, letting capital R tends to infinity, rho tends to 0. As r tends to infinity, this one becomes minus infinity, this one tends to 0, this one tends to 0, this one tends to infinity. So what we are going to get? Minus infinity to 0 capital F of x dx plus limit rho tends to 0 integration over 0 capital F of z dz plus rho to infinity capital F of x dx plus limit capital R tends to infinity integration over capital gamma f of z dz is equal to 0. Minus infinity to 0, 0 to infinity becomes minus infinity to infinity. This implies minus infinity to infinity capital F of x dx plus limit rho tends to 0 integration over 0 capital F of z dz plus limit r tends to infinity integration over capital gamma capital F of z dz is equal to 0. From the previous theorem, what we will get this one? From the previous theorem, limit rho tends to 0 integration over 0 f of z dz is equal to minus pi iota b naught. B naught is the residue at x naught. So this implies integration minus infinity to infinity capital F of x dx plus this one is minus pi iota b naught plus limit r tends to infinity integration over capital gamma f of z dz is equal to 0, where b naught is the residue at z is equal to 0 of capital F of z, which is nothing but, since z is equal to 0 is a simple pole, limit z tends to 0 z minus 0 into capital F of z, which is equal to limit z tends to 0 z into e to the power of iota z by z, which is equal to 1. Therefore, now equation number 1 becomes integration minus infinity to infinity minus pi iota into 1. Minus pi iota I am sending that side, plus limit r tends to infinity integration over capital gamma capital F of z dz is equal to pi iota. Equation number 2. Now using the Jordan lemma, I have to prove this one becomes 0 on capital gamma. On capital gamma, modulus of z is equal to capital R. Now modulus of capital F of z, that is modulus of e to the power of iota z by z, 1 by modulus of z is equal to 1 by r, which is equal to m r. This one 1 by r, this one tends to 0 as r tends to infinity. Therefore, by Jordan's lemma, what you will get? Limit r tends to infinity integration over capital gamma e to the power of iota z small f of z dz is equal to 0, which is nothing but this one. Therefore, equation number 2 implies integration minus infinity to infinity capital F of x dx is equal to pi iota. Pi iota. This implies integration minus infinity to infinity e to the power of iota x by x dx is equal to pi iota. Now e to the power of iota minus infinity to infinity can be written as, this implies 0 to infinity e to the power of iota x by x dx is equal to pi by 2 iota. Minus infinity to infinity can be written as 2 into 0 to infinity if this one is an even function. Now this implies compare real parts and imaginary parts. Integration 0 to infinity cos x by x dx is equal to 0 and integration 0 to infinity sin x by x dx is equal to pi by 2. Comparing real parts and imaginary parts on both sides.